Hey, what's up, guys? This is Coach Tex Rimberg, DFW Penguin Basketball, Penguinhoops.com. And guys, I have a very important topic and video for you guys today. And this is a video that I'm going to keep in my archive and send out a lot. So I want to make sure I put it together correctly, I word it correctly, and I hit all the points that are important. If you aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. The Penguin Instagram, all that stuff, go ahead and check that out. But today, this is a very important topic, and it's not only just for my guys, all you other guys that go onto the YouTube channel and onto my website and view videos and stuff. This is for you guys as well. So if you can get something from it, it'll be great, right? Today I want to talk about playoff games and tournament game etiquette, right? It's very important. Sports has changed so much, and it's become such a big part of not only kids' lives, but adults' lives as well. And you know, with more competition and more games comes more situations for things to come about. And you know, it's just very important to be aware of what goes on, and you as a parent to be aware of what you could potentially do to help the situation out or potentially make it worse. So we're gonna get into about 10 points that are very important that I want you guys to pay attention to. Don't just skim through this video. This is very important for you guys, all right? Number one, okay? The number one thing I want you guys to understand is, from this video, you can choose to listen to me or not, okay? At the end of the day, this is your child. This is your child's memories that he or she is gonna remember, your memories you're gonna have, and other people's perception of you and your family may potentially have something to do with a game or your life as a sports parent. But at the end of the day, I'm just here to help, okay? You can do whatever the hell you wanna do with your kid. I have no control over that. But this advice that I'm going to give you will help out a lot, and it will ease a lot of frustrations that you may potentially have in the future. You don't want to, as a parent, your kid to have bad memories of you at games, or other parents, or other families or other teams. You don't want to be seen as or remembered as the parent that went crazy at games, right? Okay, when your kid's 32 years old and you had a Christmas party or birthday party for your grandchildren, you don't want them to always remember you going nuts during games, or getting into it with other parents, or yelling at refs. Okay, you don't want your son now that's 10 or 11 years old to not want you to come to your grandchild's game because they know you're gonna have big outbursts. And also, you don't want to potentially affect the game in a negative way to where you get a technical from a kid, or technical from your kid's game from a referee, and it potentially loses the game. Guys, I've seen so many different things happen in basketball games in the 13 years that I've been coaching youth sports, okay? A lot of crazy things have happened. A lot of times, you know, I haven't had a lot of stuff happen on my end, but it has happened from my parents. But I kind of always, you know, my parents tend to follow me, and I'm always kind of even keel on the sideline and just having a good time. But I just want you guys to be, you know, aware of what's going on. And I honestly hold my parents to a higher standard than a lot of people, because we have different goals. A lot of other parents want to just win games and get trophies and medals. My big thing is these guys improving, enjoying themselves, having a good time, and learning how to actually play the game the right way for the future. You know, varsity, JV, 9th grade team, 8th grade, 7th grade team, that is my win. And it should be yours as well. So don't, whatever you do, just know that at the end of the day, this advice that I'm giving you, it's your kid. So your actions can go one or two ways. It can go good or bad. Don't let it be the bad. The number two thing that we want to talk about, which is really number one, so I reword it. Okay, the first one was kind of like an honorable mention, but this is the number one. Okay, you guys have to understand that in the leagues that we play in, playing in the playoffs is a privilege. There are a lot of teams that may potentially make it, or they do make the playoffs and they opt out, right? Playing in tournaments, a lot of kids they played a bunch of basketball, but they've never played in a really high competitive tournament. So if you're doing either one of those with me, or with any team that your kid is playing on, you have to understand that it is a privilege. These people, my assistant coaches, myself, other people are giving their time up for the weekend, right? So if your kid is playing in a tournament or playing in the playoffs, obviously your team is probably really good, or they've had a great season thus far. And you don't want to put a dampen on the season by potentially you as a parent making a bad mistake, yelling at a ref, getting a technical, getting upset with your coach, getting upset with one of the players on the team, getting upset and yelling at a kid on the other team or anything of that nature. It's just not really worth it. And if your season has been going well thus far, okay, you want to make sure that everything is positive during this playoff and this tournament game. If you guys are playing for me, first of all, I handle everything because I know almost how everything works. But you don't want to put a damper on things and potentially, hurt the season by just one, 30-second act of you cursing at a ref or getting upset with your kid or something like that, or just making them nervous, making he or she nervous before the game and they're not able to perform, right? That's number one. Just knowing that this is a privilege and you don't have to actually play in these games. Number two, guys, you gotta have your kid actually prepared to play basketball, right? What do I mean by that? Have the jersey and stuff. Have the right socks, the right shoes, right? The water bottle. Make sure they're fed. Right? Whatever they need, their wristband, headband, their basketball bag, whatever they normally use or take to games, just have them ready to go. I've seen guys get so nervous and wound up over a tournament or a game or a particular game that they show up with the wrong equipment, wrong gear. They show up with their brother's jersey on. It's 2 sizes too small. All kinds of stuff is happening. So just make sure you double check stuff. When I was a kid, my parents never taught me this. I always brought 2 pairs of shoes to play ball in. I had one in my bag and I had one in the car just in case something crazy happened, my shoestrings busted, my shoe busted, or I just lost it. I always kept that. I always done that all the way up until college. I always kept 2 pairs of shoes. I used to, even in high school, I used to keep another pair on the bus or something like that. I always had 2 pairs of shoes. And it's very important that you guys, just have your kid ready to go and equipped to play the sport that they're playing. And make a checklist if you need to. I know some of you guys have multiple children, they play multiple sports and a bunch of activities, but you can't go to saxophone class or you can't go to your orchestra performance without your saxophone, if that makes sense. You gotta have everything, right? You can't play the violin without the stringy thing. So just have your kid prepared. Number 4, which is very, very important, and some of you guys may not even realize that this is important, okay? Don't put pressure or any additional pressure on your kid to perform in certain tournament games and playoff games, right? As a kid, especially these days, as a kid, you already have so much pressure from your peers, your coaches, teammates. When you get a ton of pressure at home from your mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandmother, grandfather, cousins, okay, about a certain game, a kid could have had an amazing season thus far, right? They could have played the team before, and the last previous 2 or 3 games, they had performed well during those games because there was no pressure, no playoff pressure, no championship game pressure in the tournament. But now there is. And I always make this joke with my kids, you on a ride home, your mom's turning around or your dad's turning around and telling you, hey, we're on the way to the playoff game, you gotta score 5,000 points tonight in order for us to win. Okay, and you may just be thinking you're encouraging your kid, as a player, but depending on how your kid responds to pressure, which a lot of guys these days don't, you know, you could potentially make your son or daughter so nervous to where they just totally lose it. And you're on the sideline watching the game wondering what's going on. Is he sick? Was it did the coach say something to him? Did his teammates say something to him? What is going on? But internally is, you know, sitting on the couch before the game, hey, grandma's showing up to your playoff game, you better play well. Hey, Uncle Bobby is coming from out of town to see your playoff game, right? And now, you know, they get over there and talking about all this stuff and talking about the team and how well they prepared and putting incentives on the game. Hey, I'll give you a new pair of sneakers if you score 20 points. And all of this stuff is going through your kid's mind. And then they go out there and poop an egg, right? And you don't know what's going on, but me as a coach, I can tell, right? Because we played so many teams in the past that, you know, they might have demolished us during the season. We meet them in the playoffs, and they're totally shot. I know exactly what it is. It's the coach over-coaching them, and the parents on the team via emailing each other, Facebooking each other, and it's constant talk about this one game for a week or a few days, and everybody on the team is nervous and they perform badly. So if you want to take one big gem of advice from me, okay, don't put too much pressure on your kid. If you want to be encouraging, be positive, and that works a whole lot better. Hey, another big one, number 4, parents, please do not coach from the sidelines. I'll say it again. Do not coach your son or players from our team from the sidelines, especially in games with a lot on it, a lot at stake, playoff games, tournament games, championship games, semifinals games, all of this stuff. Guys, it does nothing but confuses your kid. If I'm yelling commands, you're yelling commands, the referee is blowing a whistle. If we're in the gym with multiple courts going on, other people are yelling from that court, whistles are blowing on that court, the coach from the opposing team is yelling stuff. To some kids, they cannot zone in and just lock in to one thing. If you're telling them something on the sidelines, and me as a coach or your coach is telling them one thing, you may think, because you visited practice and you saw what we're doing, you may think you know what we're doing, but I may, as a coach, I may have made an adjustment and you're confusing it. I've had games where, you know, a parent from the sideline yells something to my player and they shoot the ball at the wrong rim. Or their kid is dribbling up the sideline and they yell, hey, call a timeout. You need a timeout, timeout. And the kid actually calls a timeout and we don't have any timeouts left. So basically, this parent lost the game for us. We get a technical foul, you lose it for us. And you guys don't think about this stuff until it actually happens. You don't think it's going to actually happen, and it does. I've had games where parents on the other team have said something to our players in the game and confused them, and they've taken a ball out on accident, shot 3-pointers when no one on our team told them to shoot, because these guys get nervous. So eliminate that, okay? If you want to say anything, you know, cheer them on. Hey, go Bobby, go. Good shot, buddy. Way to hustle. Way to get on that floor. Way to knock down those free throws. Good shot. Not anything like, pass the ball, shoot it. Take it out. I may be saying one thing on the bench and you're saying something total opposite, okay? And then sometimes too, parents, you guys go to the restroom, you look at your phone during timeouts, and then you look up and you think something is going on, or it's halftime, you don't realize we switched goals and you tell them to do something wrong, right? So just eliminate that, just say encouraging things, but please do not yell commands or coaching commands from the sidelines. It does nothing but make things worse. All right, guys, number 5, okay? And this is very important for future reference, right? Guys, I know sports is more competitive, and a lot of the stuff now is geared, leagues and stuff, even tournaments are geared more towards customer service and just getting guys more games to make people happy. I remember when I was in school, you get 1 or 2 games in the tournament. When I was in the 8th, 9th grade, 10th grade going on up, you get 1 or 2 games in the tournament, right? The leagues and stuff were a lot cheaper then. The tournament entry fees were a lot cheaper then. But, you used to get 1 or 2 games, and if you lost those games, you don't get 3, 4, 5 games in a weekend just to make everyone happy or make it seem like you're giving everybody more. Like if you lost, you're out. Once you lose that first game, the most you can win is 3rd place, right? Now it's to the point where a lot of tournaments and stuff are held where you get a guaranteed 4 games, guaranteed 5 games, which it makes sense. And a lot of kids need more minutes, more playing, playing more. It helps them get better. But to me, all it does a lot of times is just pacify kids until they get smacked in the face with the reality of school ball. When you're in 10th grade, you're trying to make JV, you make JV. If you're not performing well, you're not getting in. You're on varsity, you're not performing well, you're not getting in. And I'm a little bit more lenient because I want the guys to have fun and things of that nature. But playing time is earned, okay, not given. Especially in games that are really meaningful, right? Most coaches that have some type of heart, they'll try to play guys even though they may not be deserving or maybe not be able to perform as well as others in certain games, right? I try to do that as well. Sometimes I have kids that can barely catch the ball sometimes, right? And the reason why I do that is because I was that kid. I was really bad when I was younger. I couldn't play. I didn't start playing until around organized basketball until around the 6th grade, and I could barely play, but I was just tall. But that's what saved me. But I was so bad at times I couldn't play. They couldn't put me in the game late because it would just be a disservice to the team. We'd be playing 4-on-5, right? And if you're a person, you're a parent, you've ever done anything sports-wise or anything that involves a team, sometimes you gotta, in certain situations when it gets tough and you have good competition, you gotta put your best players out there and you can't save face. So this point right here I'm trying to drive is that playing time is earned. In these games, okay, if your kid does not play the amount of time desired, do not take it personal. All right, number 6, guys, leave the referees alone. Don't give them a hard time, especially right now at the date of this video that I'm making it in 2022. So it's a shortage on everything: workers, supplies, referees in games, guys that do the clock, guys that do the book. It's even a shortage on people playing sports because of what's going on in the world. Okay, these guys not only are they giving their time, in many cases, in many leagues, they're giving their time for a very small amount of pay. They're actually risking their health being out there, right? And you gotta understand that a lot of times these guys are just regular people trying to get an extra buck, okay? Trying to pay for their kids' piano lessons. They make mistakes, right? And if you guys watch me when I'm coaching the reffing games, the only time, not reffing games, when I'm coaching games, you rarely see me really actually get on the referee. When I do, I talk to them about it. And a lot of times just having an understanding will click in their mind that they're making a mistake sometimes, right? But if you're yelling at the ref, cursing at the ref, have something smart to say every time they run down the court on your sideline, you're gonna make it bad for your team. And also, some of these refs will take it personal. They will remember your kid in games when they ref other sports, and they will take it out on them. Believe me, I've seen it, I've heard about it. Okay, these kids, especially with me, I coach so many teams, and a lot of my players stay with me for a long, extended period of time. Many of these referees around this area that I know personally, because I've been coaching so long, they've been reffing so many of my games, they know kids by name. They remember faces, They know who they are. They know their first and last name. They know who their parents are. Okay, so you don't want your kid to be targeted in the future based off one game where you got nervous or you were upset about a call. When you go home in 48 hours, you won't even be thinking about it anymore. All right, this is number 7, I think. All right. Very important. Okay, guys, if you guys have seen me coach, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've coached over 10,000, yes, 10,000 basketball games. I've had a lot of players come and go, a lot of parents come and go. I have guys now, even though I'm still fairly young as a coach, I have guys now that have families and everything that I coached in the past when they were little kids. And like, I've seen so much. And you know, if you're playing for me now and you're seeing this video, you see a lot of coaches and opposing parents and stuff yell obscenities at me or get upset with me because they're losing or anything. Guys, I try my best, unless it gets extremely disrespectful, to ignore it and keep pushing forward. Honestly, I see it as a sign of respect, if that makes sense. Okay, because if my teams were bad, if I was a bad coach, and you were beating us by 1,000,000 points every time you played us, it would be nothing for you to say to me, okay? And I kind of expect my parents to be a reflection of me. I hold you guys to a higher standard. And when you have parents on the other team that are yelling obscenities to your kid in the game, or just making smart remarks about your player or about me on the sidelines, try your best if you can. Try your best to ignore. And I know it's really hard at times to ignore some of the remarks that some of these parents have. I mean, it gets unreal. And I'm not over there, but I know what happens. I'm not on the sidelines with you guys, but I know exactly what happens a lot of times. But take the high road if you can. Try it. Number 8, really easy, okay? You guys will be surprised at how many adult people will go over to the book when we're playing basketball. The book is where you keep the points, keep the fouls, all that stuff. Grown adult people will actually cheat. Give a kid an extra foul that didn't get it. Mark a foul on a kid that didn't commit the foul, right? Other little things. Just manipulating the score on the book, because the book is official. Guys, volunteer to do some of this stuff. I know a lot of you guys want to just sit and watch. And if I'm a parent, I want to just sit and watch. But if we lose by 1 or 2 points that the person from the other team didn't mark in, and you're on the sideline on the other side, and every other parent on our team is yelling, they didn't put our 2 points in. They didn't put our 2 points in. Bobby made a layup and they didn't count it. I'm coaching the game, all right? Or I'm talking to the ref. I'm talking to the kids, right? I don't see everything. I try to see a lot, but I can't see everything. But if I have a good, helpful parent that's neutral, that's level-headed, that won't get upset about the stuff that the opposing coach may say or do, or the referee may say or do, it is so helpful when I don't have to coach the person doing the book and the clock, especially in tournaments, you know. Whew. So please, I know a lot of you guys just want to watch the game, but please, if you're available and you're knowledgeable of what's going on, volunteer to do the book. Number 9, guys, simple. Cheer and support the team. Go Bobby, go John. Okay, give me some of that. I see a lot of parents, period, just hanging out. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. But especially during playoff and tournament time, this is really meaningful to these guys. And cheering and hearing good positive words of encouragement from the sideline from my parents goes a long way. Especially when it's not their own parent. Cheering for them and pushing them on and saying positive things, you know? So cheer, it's okay. Number 10. Guys, I have coached so many basketball games in my life. I've been around so much basketball. The only thing I have not done as a coach is play professional basketball and coach professional basketball. Everything else I have done and seen on a basketball court. You guys will be amazed to see the type of things I've seen from parents, from players, to coaches, referees, people that just work in the facility of the gym, accidents, spills, injuries, all of that stuff, right? And a lot of emotions go into sports. It gets really emotional when you're playing these games, especially for people that don't leave the house a lot. And them going to these games is their way to not release anger, but a way to, just have some fun, just get away from home, get their kids out of the house, right? And the game can go positively, you can win, or it can go negatively, and you can lose. You can lose by a half-court shot. You can lose by a bad call. You can lose by a bad foul. You can lose because you feel like your kid didn't play enough. You lose because one kid played too much. Whatever it may be, okay? What I'm asking you guys is, and this is very important, okay? Give yourself, after the game, win, lose, or draw, give yourself 24 hours to reflect and think about it, calm down, before you act on something. Say something to your kid when you're upset. Say something to a referee when you're upset. Say something to an opposing coach or a player or whatever, a parent when you're upset. Say something to me when you're upset, right? I understand the emotions. I understand what's going on. So it doesn't, I know things happen, and a lot of people have different things going on in their lives that you don't know anything about. You could have a sick family member and you just want to get your mind off of that, and you go to your kid's game and you're yelling and screaming and you lose by a bad call on a foul at the end of the game. This referee that's been calling bad calls all game, and you want to go after it right after the game. You're yelling and screaming on the sideline. You're livid. In 24 hours, whatever you may have done or may be about to do in that moment, will it be worth it? Will it be worth the memory of your kid having that memory of that down the road? I've seen so much. I had a situation about 2 years ago before this video where the kid got a hard foul. It was a basketball play, but the kid just he fouled him hard, chasing them down. They're little kids. I think it was like 5th or 6th grade. And the kid ran into the wall. And the two kids kind of got in a little small tussle. Nothing that the referees and the coaches can't handle. But just this particular day, these two parents ran after both kids. One parent ran after the kid to, I guess, protect them. And that kid's parent that the first parent was going after, he went out there and it became some big ordeal, right? Almost to the point where the authorities got involved, okay? Over a basketball play. No fist thrown, okay? No punching, no weapons. It's a basketball game, just a hard, clean foul, right? But the emotions of a playoff game for this parent, who knows what this parent was going through at the time to make them want to go and do that, right? But what I'm saying to you guys is think about it, give it 24 hours, and if you're still upset with it, I understand, but a lot of times you won't. And the crazy thing about it is your kid won't even be worried about it the next morning, okay? Hey mom, can we go to McDonald's? You're devastated, you're upset about it, you're calling everybody, posting on Facebook. Your kid doesn't even care. So why do you care so much? So just give it 24 hours, think it through, calm down, and then if you want to, complain or to the gym, talk to me about it, emails whoever you need to email. The main thing you don't want to do is overreact and also take it out on your kid. All right, so guys, that's pretty much it, man. I hope you guys got something from this. I know this video is pretty long, but it's very important. I should have done this video a long time ago, and I'm going to use this for reference in the future for games to come. All right, I will see you guys later.